Welcome back. The hashtag Break Free Media Summit, hosted by the One Economy Foundation, is scheduled for January 19th, 2024. The summit will center around discussions on reporting about gender-based violence, femicide and reproductive health. Additionally, it will mark the debut of the hashtag Break Free Media Awards ceremony. To shed more on the summit and awards, we are joined by Senior Social Worker at the One Economy Foundation, Pefimbo Shipunda. Good evening and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Just to start with, ma'am, can you provide more details on the topics to be discussed during the hashtag Break Free Media Summit, particularly regarding gender-based violence, femicide and reproductive health?
So we, in the past, had similar trainings, and of course our focus was more on gender-based violence. And looking at different issues, we have decided to also tap into reproductive health. And because we have recently, that's last year, September, which focuses on reproductive health. That also was one of the reasons why we had to add it to this. But yes, we'll focus on understanding gender-based violence and femicide, and focus also on the complexity of it, and also on issues of reproductive health as well.
And how does the summit plan to address mental health awareness in relation to the themes being discussed?
So during the summit, we'll also have a panel discussion, and of course we'll have your frontline service providers, your journalists, but we also have a survivor who will share their story, or to share more on how that affected her, and also on, because her story also was put on the paper, how it affected her on the way it was reported as well. And of course we'll have different experts also when it comes to the issues of mental health. We'll have a psychiatrist, and she will talk more on mental health as well.
Mm-hmm. What inspired the choice of speakers that you'll be having, such as Dr. Thaleng Mofokeng, Dr. Darlene de Lang, and Ms. Kauna Ndilula?
It's because of their expertise in the field. Of course, we wanted to tackle different issues, and not only to give more information on gender-based violence and reproductive health, but also to bring in an aspect of mental health, aspect of, journalists also need to benefit in a way personally, and that's why we also decided to bring in a finance expert, which is Ms. Kauna Ndilula, who is going to focus on, personal finances. But yes, just because of the expertise, Dr. Trelang is, of course, a UN Special Rapporteur on the rights of everyone. And she also did, she's on the global platform. So with the experts from the different countries, that will help us, to look at what I would say in Namibia, what are her experiences from other countries and all that. And of course, I think on mental health is quite linked to gender-based violence and reproductive health as well.
And the training coincides with the launch of the hashtag Break Free Media Awards. Could you elaborate on the criteria for these awards and what impact you hope they'll have on addressing the issues at hand?
Okay, for the criteria, we'll have 4 categories, which is print, radio, television, and digital media. And of course, we'll look at excellence in reporting, so looking at the sensitivities on gender-based violence and femicide and reproductive health, ethical journalism, and of course, people who are entering must submit 3 pieces, and that should have been reported between the 1st of January 2023 and the 30th of November 2023.
Mm-hmm. How can independent journalists contribute to the summit? What are the expectations for their participation?
Basically, it's just similar to any other journalist. Of course, journalists that are part of media houses were invited through their media houses, and the poster that is out there is for independent journalists, of course, because they are not a part of any media house. But of course, journalists have a powerful tool. They put information out there. Of course, during this summit, we want, to bring out, just an understanding on gender-based violence, and understanding on reproductive health. And with that should help them to shape how they do their reporting, when it comes to those issues, because it's really quite sensitive issues in our country, and how issues are reported or how information is put out there really matters in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Madam Shipunda, can you share more insight into the role of media practitioners in shaping public opinion and spreading awareness about gender-based violence, femicide and reproductive health?
As journalists, when we pick up, for example, a newspaper and we read, or when we listen to the radio, or, you find some information on internet, depending on, or on TV, depending on, what platform, we are likely to believe, whatever is put out there. So, of course, they can shape, on how we understand certain issues, So for us, it's really important to capture and get an understanding of the complexity of these issues. So, of course, they can shape a lot in our country, through their reporting and all that.
For journalists that are interested in submitting their work for these awards, are they still able to do so, and how do they go about it?
Yes, people can still enter until tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day, and they can reach out to, I think, the best is to go to our social media platform. Then the person can get more details and, the email and all that. So our social media handle is Break Free from Violence, or they can find it on One Economy Foundation. Otherwise, then now the email that is available to submit their entries is media@oneeconomy. But I think the best is to, get all the details on the poster, call our office if needs to be, and our number is 061 2707 806. That's 061 2707 806.
Madam Shipunda, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was Madam Phefimbo Shipunda, Senior Social Worker at One Economy Foundation, speaking to us on the line about the hashtag Break Free Media Summit that's hosted by One Economy. It will be taking place on the 19th of January 2024. Also, additionally, they're launching the Media Awards. So for independent journalists who would like to submit their work around gender-based violence, femicide and reproductive health, you can do so. You have up until tomorrow. If you'd like any further information, please do give them a call on 061 2707 806. It's now time for our Health Corner.